Three texts have been read for us from the scriptures. Exodus 24, 12 to 18, 2 Peter 1, 16 to 21, and Matthew 17, 1 to 9. The Exodus passage is situated in the context of a covenant that the people of Israel make with God. Before Moses sets out to the mountain along with Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, and the 70 elders. All of them are asked to be at a distance, and then Moses is summoned alone to the mountaintop to a certain distance. His aide Joshua walks with him, and then Moses walks alone to the mountaintop. The people had seen a great fire on the mountaintop. They beheld the glory of God. Then a cloud covered the mountain of Sinai, and Moses disappeared into that cloud and was there for 6 days. The glory of the Lord was like a devouring fire. Over here, God gave him several instructions and gave him the 10 Commandments, which is unique in the entire region of that place, covering North Africa, covering the Mediterranean, Syria, all those places. Something comparable is the Hammurabi Code. But the 10 Commandments are unique in the way it is set out. Moses brings these commandments on 2 stone tablets, and from the Deuteronomy chapter 9 passage, we know that there was a rebellion down below. Before he went up, he told the people, Aaron and Hur are with you. If you have any dispute, you go to them. He knew that there were contentious people, there were disputes. And wherever people are there will be contention, there will be disputes. Let us be realistic. He made provision that there will be 2 leaders among you. But these 2 leaders led the people astray from God. They had forgotten that they very recently only they had made a covenant with God. And they made a calf, a golden calf, and worshipped it. Moses was so upset that he flung the 2 tablets of stone, and he had that calf melted, and he poured it into the stream. The Matthew passage entitled The Transfiguration of Jesus Christ also takes place on a mountaintop, the Mount of Transfiguration. Over here, Jesus walks up the mountain along with Peter, James, and John, the 2 brothers. And when they get to the mountaintop, Jesus transfigures before them. His face shone like the sun, and clothes became bright as light. Moses and Elijah appear and talk with him, while Peter, James, and John behold them. Then a bright cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from heaven was heard by the three. This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. Of course, Peter, James, and John were awestruck. They fell prostrate. They were scared. And Jesus comes to them and puts his hands on them and says, "Get up, do not be afraid." In the midst of all of this, Peter, the one who always took the lead, says, "Jesus, if you like, we'll have three tents. One for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. And we can stay here." But Jesus goes down and they follow him. And when he goes down, he finds that there is a man who is having epileptic attack. The remaining disciples are unable to deal with the problem. And Jesus tells them that without prayer and fasting, such unclean spirits cannot be driven away. And Jesus lays his hands on this person and he's healed. They had actually asked a question, why we are not able to deal with this. Both the passages have a mountaintop experience and a valley experience. In the first passage, we see that there is rebellion in the camp of the valley. Moses and Aaron and Nadab and Abinu and the 70 elders had seen the glory. And Moses experienced something more tremendous in the presence of God when he received the 10 Commandments and many other instructions. In the light of the passage in Matthew, where the voice is heard, Peter confesses that he was a witness along with James and John. They were eyewitnesses of the majesty, honor, and glory when it was bestowed upon Jesus Christ by the Father. And he says that it was evident when they heard the voice, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." But God did speak on Mount Sinai in a way that Moses could understand but could not see his face, because we know from the other passage in Exodus that Moses wanted to see the face of God. And God said, "No one can see my face and live. I will pass with my back towards you." These are called theophanies, the appearance of God to a people. And from the New Testament perspective, we call it Christophanies, the appearance of Christ in the Old Testament experiences of people. We cannot live our life just on the mountaintop. That would be just living in the transcendent understanding of God. But we have to come back to where action takes place, where life is lived by the people, where there is rebellion, where there are problems. We experience God's peace on the mountaintop, as the song that was sung to us says. And we don't want to leave that. And that is one extreme. And the church has called it quietism, where we are not willing to come down from the mountaintop and face life. We go to the mountaintop so that we may encounter God, be strengthened, and then come back, come down to the valley and face life. Moses had to do that. Jesus did that, and they have set an example for us. We need to find our cave. Those of you who have visited Israel we know that in Galilee they take you to a spot, a little cave, which have a natural bench, and they say that Jesus actually used this cave because from this particular point you can see boats coming and boats leaving, and he spent time in the night praying there. But during the day, he was in the midst of the people. We need to find that cave in our lives. We need to find that quiet place to receive strength so that we may be able to go forward. Retreat for a while, but then go forward. There's another extreme that people only want to be active in the world, but do not take a short retreat to be in God's presence, to receive strength, and to move on. That is the heresy of activism. Quietism is a problem. Activism is also a problem that is detached from a life of contemplation, a life of relationship with God and being led by God. Martin Luther King Jr. was a pastor, got involved in the civil rights movement. Early in his work, his house was bombed, kitchen was damaged. He returned home when he heard the news, wife and children were safe. He went to see the damage. His heart was shaken. Fear gripped his heart. What would happen to his wife and children? And he said he knelt down and he prayed. And he said a powerful presence came into that kitchen. And he arose from that time of prayer, never to fear again. That was the experience, the mountaintop experience in that kitchen for him. And before he was shot, he knew that his life was in danger, but he was in a playful mood. When you see the documentary that actually has candid shots, it's a documentary. And then he gets ready because they had to go out for the evening. He wasn't keeping too well. He gets up, gets ready, gets out of the room, and then very quickly he's shot and he's gone. He did not fear. And in his last message the previous night, he already probably had premonition that his time was coming to an end, for he said, I have been on the mountaintop and I have seen the glory of the Lord. And I am not afraid. That is the mountaintop we're talking about. There may come difficult times in your lives, but be of good courage. For God will never leave you. He will stand by you. He will see you through. Sorry, I'm a bit emotional today because I feel the burden of some of our people who have struggles. I have struggles too. We step out into the ministry only with one confidence that He has called and that He will see us through. All encounters with God thrust us back into the Word, never taking us out of the Word. Jesus went on a 40-day fast in the wilderness and He returned back to Nazareth, announced the agenda for His ministry, reading from Isaiah 61, verses 1 and 2a. And He went on to execute the ministry for which He was called. He had to bear the cross, but He was not afraid. God vindicates. Powerfully, Jesus Christ was vindicated in the resurrection. On the day of Pentecost, when the Spirit came down upon the people, they were in prayer, they had a mountaintop experience. Jesus spent 40 days and 40 nights with them, and then as He ascended into heaven, the two angels asked the apostles and the disciples who were gathered there, what are you looking on? He who has gone up will come back in like manner. Don't look up. Look ahead. Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and unto the uttermost parts of the world. Look ahead. Go do your work. Always an encounter with God thrusts us back into the world, not taking us out of the world like we think in India, moksha. It's an escape. God of the mountain is also God in the valley. Is the song that was sung for us just a few minutes ago. We are supposed to live in both the realms, in the realm of the mountaintop and in the realm of the valley. Dag Hammarskjöld, the second Secretary General of the United Nations, but he was the first elected Secretary General, an economist and diplomat from Sweden, who suffered from Great Depression. He records that in his diary, markings, that he came to a point where he said yes to God. The context is God gets him. He was responsible for placing that large rock in the prayer room. in the United Nations building. House of prayer for all nations. No other icon is there. For those who have eyes to see, ears to hear, and hearts to understand what that rock means. But it is connected to his personal experience. He says, one day during the Lenten meditation time, he said, yes, that is not my will, but yours be done. He was very powerful in his work, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but a slice of life that I wanted to share with you, I thought about it, and this story came back to me. Most of you know it, many of you know it. That his secretary said to him, where do you find your strength for all the work that you do? He asked him to open his briefcase, take out a book. It was his Bible. It was well used. Every year he changed his Bible. And he said, I decided one day that before I meet people, I will meet with God. He spent 3 hours in the morning with God before he went about his work of peace and reconciliation. And for that cause he was shocked. But when he said yes, he knew that there are valleys. And he knew that his strength came from the time of encounter with God, time with God. Let us not ask for a life of peace. Let us not ask that we be removed from tasks that are difficult. But let us ask for strength. Let us ask for wisdom. Let us ask for guidance. For God is there and He is real. What Moses had to share with us and what Peter had to share with us is true. These are personal testimonies. We need to get to a point where we really converse with God and we learn to wait upon Him and hear from Him and then rise and meet people. Not in our own strength or in the confidence of the knowledge we have, but in all humility recognizing the God who has called us for the work He has called us. And He will see you through. He will see me through. And as you look ahead to a future, God is calling us to be strong. May God richly bless us.